Hey guys, welcome to the debut episode of our Flooring Strategies podcast. Today I have with me John Booth, owner of Louisville Coating Company. John, thanks so much for being here on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome, yeah. So looking forward to it. Let's just jump straight into it. I would love to start right at the beginning of your story. So how did you first get into the flooring business, and then mainly why flooring?
So I got out of high school working for an excavation company, and it sucked. And my buddy called me one day. It was like in the middle of summer. I was hand loading riprap out of a bucket, and I said, "Dude, there's gotta be more to life than this." My buddy Cheatham calls. He goes, "Hey, you want a job? We do hardwood floors over here. It's nice, AC, uh, always in nice homes." And I was like, "Yeah." That sounds way better than where I'm at right now. So they chose me.
Mhm.
That was just my better choice.
Yep. So what did the business kind of look like in year one versus kind of today?
Like year one of when I started working for somebody else or
When you
my
started
personal company.
your personal company, like what did that kind of look
Okay,
like?
so from year one till today,
Yeah, yeah.
that was
How
just,
did it kind of like change?
all right. So year one, um, year one was by accident. Uh, I started so I started my company in 2009. Uh, we was in that recession.
Hmm.
The company I was working for doing hardwood floors, I worked like 1 or 2 days in December and 2 or 3 days in November. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was already broke. I couldn't get. I had to find something else.
Hmm.
So my uncle had plenty of work. He owns an electrical company, and he was doing a whole lot of Cracker Barrels. So I went to work doing Cracker Barrels, and one day the concrete guys had busted our pipes for the wires to be fished from the panel to the gift shop, and we had to tear up some hardwood and route some new wires through there. And I told the GC, I was like, "Hey man, you want me to put these back?" He said, "Hell no, I don't want no electrical helper, touching my floors at all. Stay the hell off of them." And he didn't know any better. I was like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
got this. So I laughed. And that next morning, he flew out to Illinois with his family. I think we was in Louisiana or something like that, Florida. And my uncle looked at me and he goes, "Hey, you think you can do this for real?" And I was like, "Yeah," you know. And so we go to Home Depot and just get this hodgepodge of shit, and I make it work. All right, and you could not tell at all, you know, uh, where I'd patched it in. And the Harbor Floor Company that was there doing it wouldn't fly back out to repair it, and they also wouldn't give me the stain color.
Hmm.
So it was a little tough,
Yeah.
being 2019, and that's where I first got started. It was scary. I was living out of my truck. Uh, I remember coming back from my very first job, which was a Cracker Barrel. So you have to clean up everybody's shit that's in this store, okay? And you gotta vac it, and you gotta put down this liquid tar, and then you gotta cut like I don't know 9,000 2x4x8s, and you gotta hilt them down, all right, and staggered, 12 inches from each other. Lay
Hmm.
plastic over it, and then rack 2,000 feet of 2 1/4 on top of that. Nail
Yeah.
it, sand it, finish it. There was no AC. Like I was not supposed to do it. I stayed in the Cracker Barrel in uh an air mattress. All right. I took showers at night in the mechanical room. It was like, I don't know, 10 degrees.
Hmm.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Uh I fell asleep driving back, hit some cones, woke up to that,
Yeah.
fucking starving. I looked like a dog that had been out without a home for like a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I got back home, it's nice. It went from I don't know how I'm gonna make it home, back home to, you know, blessed beyond anything I could ever fathom my life being.
Hmm.
You know, uh,
What do you think like the biggest factor was between like from getting to that spot to like the blessed spot?
I was definitely listening to the Lord.
Yeah.
When I the biggest part was when I stopped thinking what I do for a living is about me and my family or my finances. And I started thinking it's about others and how you impact others. And that may sound corny. It's just the truth. Like I was willing to let who I am die today for who I could become tomorrow.
Hmm.
Just like the seed of a fruit tree, it's like our life. We got to be able to let go of who we are to become that tree, all right? And our work is, they say it's the fruit of our labor or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the fruit of our labor is a lot like an apple tree, the apple in that tree. It's not meant, that apple's not meant for that tree. It's meant for the people that are walking by, just like people that come by in your time of life. They're coming by, you get a very short time with them. And I started treating them the best I could instead of treating them like the typical hardwood diva, you
Hmm.
know. And I listened and I didn't think about myself, and what I produced, was the fruit for somebody else.
Yep.
And when I really not only thought about it, but implemented it, is when my life was just 9 day difference.
Yeah. So would you say like the biggest factor that kind of goes into doing quality work is just the care that comes behind it? Um like not only from you but your crew or whatever.
Say that again.
Like the your main like driver in life is like doing quality work for other people and like having other people enjoy it. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's whatever God's will is. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what my driving force changes every day.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing. Like when I got caught up in goals and setting goals and achieving goals, I missed out on other things.
Hmm.
Or, things happened out of my control that caused goals to not happen. Uh, One thing I could say is don't don't let goals don't get caught up in your goals, you know.
Yep.
Uh, so it's hard for me to answer that question.
Yeah.
My driving force is, the love I have for the craft, learning, being uh being that guy that's not afraid. My driving force a lot of times is not being afraid of trying new things. You
Hmm.
know,
For sure.
what's the worst what's going to happen?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You gonna have to re-sand a floor or a section, or what the fuck is the worst thing that's going to happen? The best case scenario is you're going to get paid to do something badass that no one else has done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it has a fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So kind of going backwards to that like place of struggle, what was like kind of the biggest thing you did to get customers that kind of like launched you out of that place of struggle? Like how I think the biggest thing that people wonder when they're first starting their businesses is how they can get customers and how they can get work consistently. Like how are you able to do that?
So I worked in the hardwood for 5 years before I went out on my own. So I knew, companies that would subcontract to people like me that had a small company, startups. Back then when I first started, there wasn't a marketplace. It was Craigslist ads. So I got on Craigslist and found Highland Hardwood, some guy rich, and you know I went in for an interview. I didn't know they were looking to hire somebody. and not 1099 sub them. And I come in there and he's like, all right, well, we work from 9 to 5, whatever, whatever. And I said, oh no, homie, you got me mistaken. I don't want a job here. Like, I want jobs, you know, shut my way. And then some guy, Billy, came in and was like, hey, I know you. You work for Rex. Yeah. And he looked at Rich and he goes, do whatever this guy needs for, for us to be able to give him work.
Hmm.
And that helped. Just finding sources of work in different areas before you just jump,
Yeah.
you know, get you your basic needs. Do your job here today. Work for somebody first. Do that job for 8 hours, whatever it is, and then try to get you some jobs on the side to
Yeah.
work at night. So if you're working 8 hours for somebody else, work 9 hours for yourself, and then shower, eat, and sleep whatever's left. Save your money, buy your equipment, all right, and you can get that while you're learning and getting paid to learn, and then make your contacts, not shitty contacts like behind your boss's back,
Yeah.
contacts that
Yeah.
he doesn't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe your boss could be your contact. Tell him what you're doing. Tell him, hey, this is what's up. He's already going to know. He owns his own company. He had to start somewhere. He's going to know what you're doing already. You're built. You're going to be built different
Yeah.
than everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just you'll know when it, you will know when to start and where to get work and be patient with it. You know what I mean? God won't give you nothing that you can't handle.
Hmm.
Just be still and wait for him and keep your eyes out and just drive. Just maybe go get in your vehicle, go to the nearest big city and look up flooring stores and hit up flooring stores, and talk to them. Go in there. Don't be afraid to have a portfolio ready. Don't be afraid to talk to them. They need you as much as you need them.
Yeah.
So just because somebody owns a $5 million store and you're broke as a joke doesn't mean that they see some scrag. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Walk in there like you own the place. Talk, talk, educated.
Yeah.
Dress decent. Don't look like a homeless bum.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would say like biggest thing is just like connecting with people, getting yourself out there and just like the overall just hustle.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess you could say hustle.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems
yeah,
like that's what you did initially based on your story. I mean, like putting yourself out there is not easy. I mean, you got to really hustle for it.
yeah. Like I'll be honest with you, doing this podcast is. I didn't know it was going to be this hard. I don't
Yeah.
think about I've been done, what I've done, where I've been. I had to call my wife and Stephen Austin for Proco before this morning and be like, what the hell is my milestones? Like, what have I done?
Hmm.
Like, what's the advice?
Yeah.
You know, when you get caught up and not yourself, you lose what you've done with yourself
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard.
Yeah. I think it's along the way it's although I'm young, I got a lot more years to go, but I think you do get pretty caught up in what you've achieved, and it's easy to not look back and look back at all the achievements you've done and the things you've stacked up over the years, with all the hard work you've done. Um, so it's good to take some time for like reflection and see what you can provide for others, and like especially knowledge wise. Um, but yeah, I wanted to touch on like what was one of your like biggest challenges? I guess not really during your first like breakout part from struggle, but like at like that midpoint, did you have any like huge struggles that was kind of hard to overcome?
I know I have. Um, my accent, that was kind of hard.
Hmm.
I talked to like the little kids off Talladega Nights,
Yep.
and that was kind of hard midway through. Uh, Getting employees, I still don't have. I still burn through employees. Like today, I don't have an employee now.
Hmm.
You know, 5 years ago, I had three,
Yeah.
four, five. Uh, struggles.
We can come back to it
My biggest,
if you wanna think of
yeah,
some more things.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, kind of going back to your company, um, what would you say is like I know we've touched on hardwood and that's kind of how you got your start, but I know based on your website a lot of it is like epoxy work. What would you say your company like mainly specializes in right now?
I still specialize in hardware.
Hmm.
I'm still learning the epoxy.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just more passionate about epoxy because it's new.
Hmm.
There's not very many people doing it in Louisville, and so I kind of wanted a yin and a yang. I have Louisville's Best Choice Flooring that does hardwood, and I have Louisville Coating Company that does concrete. Louisville's Best Choice Flooring had never marketed anything, never, ever. It was all word of mouth. I built it from scratch, never even had a website, nothing. I'm trying to do the total opposite for Louisville Coating Company for the epoxy. And my marketing guy was just like, "Hey, let's just throw Louisville's Best Choice Flooring on there too." I was like, "Dude, this whatever. I'm not. I'm tech hard. I don't even know how to turn on a computer probably. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Nor do I own one. And my wife tells me I'm not allowed to touch hers. So, uh, you know, whatever he says goes as far as that side of the company. Um, damn, I think I just rambled on. I forgot your question.
It was mostly just what like hardwood versus epoxy, like what you mainly specialize in, but I guess you kind of covered both of those. Like you didn't drop hardwood. You're kind of just taking advantage of the newness of the epoxy side,
Yeah,
if that sounds right.
dude, I was putting LED neon lights in a hardwood floor before anybody.
Hmm.
You know, like it never even been talked about. Uh, One of my first mentor I had really was Wayne Highlander, and he was a boner. He's a boner rep, but he was my area rep. My region. And I remember him coming to my house. That I used to build houses too, and I was building this house, built two houses at the same time. And he come to one of mine, and he was like, "Man, look at this. Look at this tile job this guy did. He put lights in it. And I know Wayne knew what he was doing there. He was planting that seed in my head.
Hmm.
You got to find that special person that's wild enough to do it. And he found it, and I did it. I hand drew like a 10-foot yin yang in a customer's floor. So check this out. All right. I have this customer in like New Louisville. All right. Uh, and I'm like, hey man, I'll give you like a $20,000 floor for 4,000. Just leave me the hell alone. Give me a month. Don't come to the house, and whatever I want to do, you're good with. He's like, all right. I was like, all right, give me $2,000 down, and $4,000 didn't even cover the material. It's just something I wanted to do, and I
Hmm.
drew a 10-foot yin yang. All right, this house was like 400 feet total.
Yeah.
All right, little house. So all the hardwood was almost basically the whole house. The only thing it wasn't hardwood, and it was just a square, like a
Yeah. Yeah.
350 square foot. And right in the freaking middle of it, I hand drew like a 10-foot yin yang, hand routed it out, put LED lights in it, encased it with epoxy, and then sanded it and finished it.
Hmm.
And that sucked because I didn't know epoxy would like lift the LED lights off from where I had them stationed at,
Yeah.
and I had them on, and I'd be sanding the floor, and all of a sudden that section would go out, and I'm like, oh gosh, damn it, and I'd spend 2 days trying to fix it. I'd have to rip it all back out, start again, all over. I did that like 3 or 4 times before I finally got it,
Yeah.
you know, or like I specialize in things that people don't want to do,
Yeah.
like the fractal burning. in wood and putting it in floors. I did that. Uh, I had Daniel Antes there to help me with, guide me a little bit there. Uh, I don't know, using different products on floors, you know, mixing concrete uh, primers with Pro Coat and New Coat,
Hmm.
and see if I can get 2 or 3 coats of that in a day, and how hard it is, make the sheen better. Or, putting different isocyanates in different products and see what it does.
Yeah.
You know,
Would you say there's
just
like
fun.
different sales processes between like those unique projects and then just some of like the day-to-day, like just plain old hardwood floor projects? Like how does that like differ? Like
It
like
differs
working
big
with
time. So
customers. Yeah.
yeah, so like you're not gonna go to the old side of Louisville or really anywhere and get like some 65-year-old retired teacher that wants a 10-foot yin yang in the middle of her living room.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know your area. You got to differentiate your area and look at the age of the customer and talk to them, fill them out, and that comes with a lot of time, you know, and a set of nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say your like typical sales process is for just like plain old hardwood floors if someone wants a full just a full gut of a hardwood floor and then just a reinstallation um of just a new hardwood floor. Like what would that typically look like a timeline?
Say that again.
Like what would a typical sales process look like for just like a regular old hardwood floor job? Like from estimate to maybe or consultation to estimate to closing the job. What does that kind of look like if you could break it
All
down?
right. Yeah. So, you get the initial phone call from a customer,
Hmm.
hey, is this John with Louisville Specialist Flooring? Yeah, sure. They're, hey, my name is da 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 da. I got a house we just bought, or we've been living in it. We want to redo it. We need an estimate. Okay, cool. All right, let me go grab my notebook, and I'll write down their information. Uh, and then I'll say, well, I'm busy every single minute of my life. So what day and time works for you? And I'll make that work. Customers like it. I'm already catering to them
Hmm.
subconsciously. That tells them like, hey, this guy, he already come highly recommended, but you mean like he's gonna also cater fully to me already? That's great. Like if
Yeah.
you met a celebrity, you wouldn't expect them like, hey John, uh, I'll go to dinner anytime you want to. You wouldn't expect Johnny Depp to say that to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whoever. So, and not that we're superstars by any means, but you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I'll write down, I'll show up. I try to show up about 5, 10 minutes early.
Hmm.
And I try to keep some clean clothes, or at least a clean shirt. And, sanding floors, you stink. If you're sanding pine and red oak, you stink.
Hmm.
So keep some cologne. Keep some cologne. Take a whore bath.
Yeah.
Take some bubble gum. Wash your face off. Fucking just be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And remember, people can beat you down. So remember to be alive and nice and have a genuine smile and listen. Don't try to overtalk nobody. Listen to them fully. All right.
Hmm.
Write down notes. Customers will remember every single little thing you do. All
Yeah.
right. And you can't afford to do nothing stupid or bad. So I'll go there, use manners. When you knock on a door, take a couple steps back. Don't be all up on the door.
Yeah.
Take a few steps back. Have your hands on a notebook, right there on your lap or something, on your leg. That way it does, if you got change in your pocket, subconsciously that don't look good.
Yeah.
Learn some psychology before you do this.
Yeah.
So, you, you know, meet them, go in, have them show you the area, listen to them for a minute. All right. And then you'll know when the time is to measure. Don't talk too much. Measure the floors. Write it out. I write it out in front of them. A lot of people will disagree on how I do things. I do things unlike most anybody
Hmm.
else in the industry. Okay? Everybody's usually really, really professional. They use like lasers, and I come in with a pencil a notepad and a tape measure.
Hmm.
I just realized you can use your phone. There's
Yeah.
a thing on there to measure. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
measure that. Yeah, and I will sit down with my customer and I will add up the square footage. All right, I'll show them the square footage. I'll show them, whatever, like my resand finish price, times the square footage. That's what it is. Do you want shoe mode? All right, it's gonna be this much, and I will break it down with them as they sit with me
Hmm.
as I'm doing the full estimate.
Yep.
And what I found is, you know, if you take something home and don't even measure it, it kind of gives them like a subconscious feeling of they're not as important as they thought initially. But if you do it right in front of them, they know that there's no sneakiness,
Yep.
that everybody's afraid of because it's already a big purchase. They're already, worried about it. You ask them, hey, does this look great? There's ways for me to be cheaper than this if needed to be, but I'm giving you the what I got at this price.
Mm.
You know, anything less than this is going to be less subpar than what you heard.
Yeah.
So,
How do you balance like educating them and then also like not overwhelming them with like information?
so I don't tell them how I have to, whether I need to staple it or glue it or do both, or
Hmm.
they don't need to know that I take the humidity readings and it has to be between 5 and 9%. And the wood can't be 2% more or 3% more than the subfloor. It just they don't need to know that.
Yeah.
They all they need to know is you take the right measurements uh, and checklist, and that's what you say. You just say, hey, I will take the proper moisture readings, and we'll go from there. We'll see
Yeah.
what it's like. Okay.
Yeah.
You just don't talk as much as you need to.
Hmm.
You know, you'll know what to say. Like it'll come eventually. When you first start off, the guys that are first starting off, you know, don't let them know you're nervous. They expect it. They know that you're new.
Yeah.
Don't try to not be new. Make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, whew, man, my hands are sweating. I didn't expect to be this nervous on my first time go around.
Yeah.
You know, call yourself out. It makes them laugh, and it makes you have a sense of humor to yourself.
Yeah.
They'll open up,
Yeah, for sure.
and yeah,
How important would you say like first impression is with like actually closing the sale?
100%.
It's like biggest thing. Like, would you say it
Yep.
is? Yeah. Yeah.
You have two first impressions. All right. From the time when they see you, that's the first impression. And then the second first impression is when they hear you talk.
Hmm. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
two things matter tremendously. The only thing if you look bad and you don't talk great, the only thing that may be able to save you is either a bunch of previous clients that know this person, that knows you do good work, and
Yeah.
a really good smile. Just a really good, genuine smile.
Yeah.
Those are the only things that can save you
Yeah.
if you don't make a good first impression.
Yeah. Kind of pivoting off of that, like Um, I think one of the biggest things that we have clients deal with all the time, whether it's in like the flooring industry or roofing, landscaping, is just homeowners constantly comparing bids. So how do you kind of go about that? Whether it's like you try to set yourself apart or like how do you deal with homeowners that are constantly looking for like the cheapest bid to go with?
I don't ever get them. My work, I literally let my work talk for itself.
For sure.
I don't have to. If customers are doing that to you, then that means your work's not speaking loud enough for itself.
Yeah.
Work harder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Don't entertain it. And if you do get a text, don't text them back.
Hmm.
You know, you don't have to reply back to that. If they're going to disrespect you with somebody else's bid, they're not your customer anyways.
Hmm.
You know, you don't need them.
Yeah. And kind of diving into like specifics on um, pricing and estimating things out. Um, How do you kind of price your labor? Is it by like square foot, by day, like by the scope of the project, by the complexity, or how does that kind of look like?
Square foot, usually. I don't ever
Square
do
foot.
anything by the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go by square foot. Sometimes I go by complexity. If it's like 100 square foot, hallway on a second story, it's like 2 grand minimum. I
Yeah.
gotta have at least 2 grand. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna eat up my week, and that's not fair to my children to take up my time
Hmm.
and what my fruits could be for somebody. If my work is important enough for that to look that 100 feet look that good, they won't blink an eye.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the customers you want. Because customers that don't pay that, you know, their friends ain't gonna pay that either.
Hmm.
$1,000 customers hang around $1,000 other customers.
Yeah.
$20,000 customers hang out with other $20,000 customers. You don't want, you look at your customer and say, do you want this type of customer your whole life?
Yeah.
Don't cater to it if not.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know you said like on the top of catering, you kind of like want to try to cater to the customer's needs as much as you can, whether it's like um having them reach out with a time for an estimate. Um like what's your how do you schedule jobs to avoid kind of delays stacking up with like multiple jobs maybe overlapping, or how does that work?
Uh, well, you got to know basically what you really can get done in a certain amount of time.
Mm,
And that's hard, because I battle that. That's probably one of my biggest battles, you know. So I'll give myself a grace period once a month, of like 3 or 4 days,
yeah, for sure.
not a weekend either. Like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because there will be jobs. Or like right now, I got a job overlap. I did a 2-story house with a set of stairs. It had piss stains in the floor, and Proco came out with this new product I'm testing that gets rid of these tannins, and it works tremendous. All right, it got rid of 20 stains, and it didn't get rid of all of one stain out. And they're like, "Yeah, I need that out." I'm like, well, I told you it might not get all of them out. He's like, "Well, you said they can come out." Yeah, but a lot of them did not. Most of them come out. I told you what the expectation. What I mean, I don't know if it's a miscommunication between me and the builder, or me, the builder, the homeowner, whoever. All right, so I'm gonna bend backwards because I'm grateful for the work. I'll order some more product, a little bit stronger. All right, and it should be here tomorrow. So I gotta figure out, like an hour of time where I can squeeze over there and do this real quick, appease the customer. I'm going to give them 1 hour of my life. I'm already going bending over backwards. I'm going to tell them when I get there in a text message, not a phone call, not face to face, in a text message between me and the builder and the homeowner, that I'm here once again. This may not come out all the way. I'm going above and beyond. I got a stronger product. I'm going to give you an hour of my time. If this doesn't work, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, you can replace the boards because you replaced other boards. Could have replaced these. You could have did that.
Yeah.
All right. And I even told them that, so I'm going to do this for an hour,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to charge you. But if they say another word after I leave, I'm going to hit them with some fines.
Hmm.
You know, it's and that's where I start getting irritated, is when they don't respect my time. All right, because I get frustrated now that I got to do, something during that day that I didn't need to do anyways.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm doing hardwood right now, and then in the afternoons I'm going to do an epoxy. All right, so I don't really have another hour time.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to work faster, smarter, and smarter means harder. All right, work smarter doesn't mean not working harder. Working smarter is harder too. All right, combine the both. And I had to figure out ways because I'm always by myself. I had to figure out ways to sand a floor like nobody else, to cut time off of the steps so I can get a floor done pretty close to the same time a crew would do it, but my quality still be better.
Mm.
And I did,
Yeah,
so that's what you got to find.
yeah, for sure. Um, what would you say like I know you said you were struggling earlier with like hiring, um, but have you had like challenges in the past with like lead flow and jobs like consistently month to month, or has
Nope,
it been pretty steady?
it's always steady in Kentucky for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah, for sure. What would you say like the biggest channel for lead flow has been for you?
My freaking heated seat it's on, it's burning me up. Sorry about that. I started sweating. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I was like, help me, Tom Cruise, help me,
Is
Oprah
it cold
Winfrey.
out there right now?
Yeah, it's like 30 degrees,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like Cancun, Mexico in my truck.
Yeah. What would you say has been like the best channel for leads and jobs right now? Is it mostly like referrals? Is it the marketing you've been doing?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth? Yeah.
It's always the best. That's always the
Yeah.
best.
So it's just customers that are just raving about your work and then they share to other people and they're has it been on like social platforms or is it mostly just people talking and just yeah, for sure.
Homeowner to homeowner.
Hmm.
You know,
And
I do a
how
lot of social media stuff.
yeah. Have you
That's
seen pretty good results from that, or is it mostly just still word of
that
mouth is
what results you mean financially for jobs?
yeah, yeah,
Zero.
yeah.
That zero. I've gotten zero jobs off of it.
Hmm.
You know, she knows I'm on a thing. Uh, Sorry. What was
No
the
worries, no
question?
worries. We were just talking about like referrals versus marketing stuff and marketing efforts. But
Ah,
it's yeah, it sounds like you're pretty much solid with all the homeowners talking. So if someone says like I need something done with my hardwood, they just refer straight to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's always the best. Sorry, I gotta send an address real quick.
no worries.
Uh, I mean, you gotta, when you own a business, think about if you're in that position. Like, what would you rather, like, if your bestest friends, people you trust the most, uh, if if they told you about some badass hardware floor company, uh, would you want to hire them from that because they've had the experiences and they've hired them and they loved it and didn't
Hmm.
talk shit about them, which is easier to do than talk good? Or would you rather go off that, or would you rather go off of a, like an ad or Facebook Marketplace or
Yeah,
the Google listing? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
we know, everybody knows we're going to go after the word of mouth.
Yeah. Have you So kind of going back to like your start when you were working for someone else, those connections you were building, were there any like partnerships that helped you grow, whether it was between like realtors or like other GCs or other people in the flooring industry?
So, like I said, my life is not like anybody else's. Most people have designers and uh, GCs and stuff like that. I I didn't have that.
Yeah,
Um, I had I was actually I took my hang on one second here.
no worries.
Professional Coatings Inc. Uh, Damn, she would ask me something. I have to give her like in the middle of this damn podcast. This right here is the shit that can happen to you while you're having a company. Let's see here. What asked me shit? All right. No, what was the question?
I was just asking about like any partnerships that have helped you grow, and you were saying um how you kind
I
of
got
just
you.
built it up by hand. Not many like GCs or people in the industry you were kind of leveraging to get some jobs and to get some good growth in the door.
Yeah. So before my wife was my wife, we were hanging out, and I was like, "Hey, you want to go to Miami and Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach? We'll hit each city once a day, stay in different cities." She didn't know my aunt lived in Boca Raton, and so she's like, "Yeah." So we went down there, and while I was down there, I got a call from Dwayne Donor. He owns D&D Carpets, and thank God for him, because when I was down there, he's like, I need you now. I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I need you to be at Louisville tomorrow." And I was like, "Well, we fly back tomorrow, like 7 o'clock at night." He goes, "I really need you to, when you get out of the airport, to meet me at this house before Lowe's gets sued." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I met them at a house, and I fixed a LVP floor for them. Laminate, I'm sorry. It was
Hmm.
laminate floor. Saved Lowe's from that branch from getting sued, and that awarded him with any contract that ever came through for laminate at that branch until the manager left. And that fed me for like 3 or 4 years,
Oh
and it
wow.
paid good because back then they were paying, after his cut, I was getting $1.90 a foot to install laminate, which was like, whoa, that's a lot of money back in for laminate.
Hmm.
Uh, People were doing it for like 75 cents. So I did whatever the hell I could to keep that going. Uh, and that fed me until I kept getting more customers and more customers. And then, God works great on timing. Yeah, because when that manager got fired or left, whatever happened, I don't know. And we didn't get no more jobs. I was already wondering like how I'm gonna keep doing these jobs because I got so many hardwood floor jobs that pay better, But I was so grateful for that person. I would never quit that, you
Yeah.
know. And God said, "I got you. I'll answer that right now." You know, uh, and it's great.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're able to, if the kind of chance comes up or the opportunity comes up to do something for someone else, that could pay off in the long run. Have you had like
Yeah.
any other opportunities like that that were pretty huge like that?
Um, I had a company locally try to buy me out. Uh, they pretty much slid like a $100,000 check
Mm,
at a meeting. It's like, "You come work for us, we're merch companies. We'll buy your truck from you, give it back, give you a gas card. We'll pay you $1,500 a week after healthcare and after taxes. Like you'll bring that home."
yeah.
And that was like, what, to me, that was a lot of money.
Hmm.
But my gut feelings said, "Don't do it." And that boosted my confidence more. I that was huge. That was a huge win. Uh, we partnered up on some commercial jobs after that. That's came in clutch. Uh, y- Having Wayne Highlander early in my life was super. That was major,
Hmm.
just like Dwayne Donor. Then the next boner rat, Jeremiah, and then having to get to know the head two tech guys at Bona, Rob and John Mace, was a God gift. I got to test products, 2 3 years before they ever came out. We got to help develop stuff like that. And then meeting like Daniel Antes and Dave Friedland, going to the NWFA Expo was major. That was a super duper big thing, dude. If I got a minute to talk about that, All right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'll get back to that in a minute. Uh, and then one of the biggest things is beating the Mitchells from Pro Code. That's been probably the biggest blessing. Those guys. Uh, I don't deserve them in my life. That's how great they are.
Mhm.
Like you're talking about some people that on my birthday they donate money to Children's Hospital because God favors children, and if He thinks if He can donate money on my birthday, that if that could somehow in any way, you know, you turn God's eye or whatever to my way, that's just how that guy thinks.
Yeah.
Like as a friend, I believe you do things in silent and never tell nobody, and I got them into like Lanhams, and out of nowhere, I get a Henry Gold Boy rifle in, in the in the mail. It's a special edition Gold Boy. It's a over $1,000 gun,
Yeah.
and he's like, and it had engravings in it. He goes, I knew if I got you a gun from like Walmart, you'd shoot it, stick in the dirt, and that'd be it. But if I bought you something special like this, that the Boost would know the Mitchells for many generations.
Hmm.
The thought and love that had to go into that, you know, gosh damn.
It's powerful stuff.
Oof. Yeah, it's
Yeah. So it goes a lot deeper than just flooring. You become kind of lifelong friends with these connections you make almost.
nah, no, we're family.
Family, yeah.
And we're family. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then
Uh
yeah. Did you want to touch on the expo as well?
oh yeah. So hardwood floor guys, and I mean no disrespect,
Mm,
I'm one of them, are looked at now like painters. Like
yeah.
what do you think about when I say a painter? You think a drug addict, a drug, so,
Yeah.
some wishy-washy person that he'd show up one
Yeah.
day and then, probably won't show up for another 2 weeks,
Yeah.
can't pay him till Monday because if you pay him on Friday, he ain't gonna show up. That's how hardwood floor guys are anymore. So you gotta think about the mindset most of them have, okay? And perception is everything. So I go to my first NWFA show. 3 weeks before that, I had did a fractal burnt floor. And I didn't know anybody in the world that has done a fractal floor. They've done fractal for many years, but no one's ever put it in the floor. All right, so I did that, and I put it on the dust life, and I knew that would just swarm the nation. All right, overnight, and it did, and it caught the eyes of some special people like Daniel Aunties. All right, so I go to the NWFA, and my wife was like, "You're not renting a fucking Lamborghini." And I was like, "Yes, I am." She goes, "I swear to God, John, I will delete this plane ticket, get refunded, and your ass won't go. Promise me you're not going to get a Lamborghini." Okay, I promise. So I leave Louisville 6 o'clock in the morning. I get to Tampa 8:30 in the morning, and I grab my luggage, and I see an empty seat by this family right before you get out the front door. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I gotta do it. So I looked up that exotic car rental place, and I was like, hey man, can I get a Lamborghini? Yeah, sure.
Oh
At
my
this
God.
afternoon. So I said, all right, man. All right, cool. All right. So I get an Uber ride in this minivan. I have nowhere to put my stuff because my best friend lives in Tampa. All right, I'm staying with him. I have no car. I'm in Uber. So I'm taking my luggage inside the NWFA. All right. And I see some local reps and they're like, hey, just put it across the street from my hotel. Go over there, we put it in there. All right. I'm walking in and I see some redheaded dude talk to some black dude. All right. And I
Hmm.
walk by him and I hear, hey, you're John Booth, right? Like, yeah, who are you? He goes, hey man, I'm Pat Russell. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? And I didn't know who he was talking to. Uh I still don't remember who it is now, but Like one year I thought he was a black dude. One year I thought he's an Egyptian. This guy's like this guy's like a chameleon, man. I forgot
Yeah.
his name. So I asked, I said, hey, you know where we going to this that? And this other guy, not Pat, but the other guy, I was like, yeah, he was very informal. He's like, you do this, you do this, you do that, and it's like exactly $31.52. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was on point. And I pat him on the shoulder. And I look back and I said, man, this guy is just a book of information, Eddie. And I just walk off. And he's down laughing. I don't know why. Maybe there's something on my back. I don't know. So I just like, you know, just I don't just go on, act like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
I have earphones in. I'm going through there. My best friend picks me up after the first day. We go to Clearwater, and this guy shows up in a Ferrari, and he opens the garage, and there's not just one, but multiple Lamborghinis. And damn, it looked good. This guy had previously looked up my Facebook, all right,
Hmm.
and seen that I was a bigger guy, and he had keys to another car's pocket. I had no clue about this. He goes, all right, let's go look at this Lamborghini. And I open the door, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to fit in this. He goes, just get in. I get in, I'm like, it's all cramped up.
Yeah.
And he starts laughing. I go to get out, and he goes, start the car. I said, no way. He goes, start the car. I started the car. He goes, listen to it, rev it up. All right. Then he throws me the keys. It's like, go find this car. And it's a black Ferrari California drop top, black on black.
Yeah.
And it feels like a Cadillac. And I love Ferraris. So this guy came in clutch. I rented it. There was the Loba 100th anniversary retirement party. All right. The guy had like, he spent like $50,000 on this yacht, or maybe it was his personal yacht, the guy that owned Lola, and he
Yeah.
had it drove from Germany. I don't remember. All right. But there's this big fancy multi-million-dollar yacht. It's a suit and tie party. Me and my best friend are dressed up in jeans, cowboy boots, it's our normal, and a t-shirt. And I
Yeah.
have a hat on. I get to the front, and the guy's like, "You can't come in like this." And you hear over the microphone, "Jump in! Hey, let's jump in! Let him in! Let him in now!" He's like, "Sorry, sir. Here you go. Enjoy your night." And it was really cool, man. My best friend was with me, and we get upstairs, and some dude I didn't even know dropped to his knees. Was like, "Are you the John Booth?" And I was like, "Get up, get the fuck up." So don't do it. And everybody's looking at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
my best friend's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, come on, man, get up. And I knew everybody. I felt like a celebrity.
Yeah.
I was not afraid to be who I am and be rejected. And I didn't care if I got rejected for being who I am. If I did, I didn't need to be there anyways.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're genuinely who you are 24/7, you got the best heart you can, bro. I mean, sky's the limit.
For sure. Yeah. That's awesome that you wore the cowboy boots in there. Sounds like a fun time. Always rocking them, man. Always rocking them. Let's go.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Jason Carter, if you're listening to this, uh, he's my he's my buddy.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
funny story about that. Funny story about that guy. We was at Lova class. I was in front of him. He's going to this burger truck, and he had four burgers to pick from. And I was like, "Hey, man, man, you know, may I please have like this burger with that and this and that and this?" And she's like, "Yeah, honey, sure. You want two of them? Why not?" All right. And Jason Carter goes up after I do, and he's like, "Can I have whatever he's having?" And the lady goes, "Sir, just pick me fucking burgers." And he's as nice as can be.
Yeah,
And he's probably a nicer person than I am. It's just uh, it's funny.
it's
He
hilarious.
got it.
Yeah, yeah, for
How,
sure.
how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 20. I'm turning 21 in March. So I gotta
So do you have a full-time job and then you do the podcast?
This is so the podcast is part of my brother and I's business. We run marketing for a lot of contractors across the US, whether it's like flooring. We work with a lot of like remodelers and landscapers as well. But we just do the podcast because we like to put out educational content because a lot of the people that are watching us and watching our YouTube videos are like flooring guys like you or remodelers, and so it's helpful to get like different perspectives from other like seasoned kind of vet guys.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Do you mainly focus on floors and you do just some other things or
Yeah, so we kind of I would say like majority of our clients are flooring guys. But we have like a few other guys from just like referrals kind of in like the landscaping, hardscaping, remodeling kind of niches.
what do you want to see floor guys accomplish in the next 10 years?
Um Honestly, it's mostly like we just find the most like fulfillment from seeing the guys like you or somebody else grow from having like whether it's like a small operation by themselves just hustling around to a position where they can kind of just coach other guys on what they've like kind of learned over the years and then they can kind of see from a higher up position. Um, but that's kind of where
What would
we
you like to see us change? Like, what would you like to see us change?
I mean, like from your operation, I would want you in like a higher position, having like a couple guys underneath you consistently being able to just pump work out and you kind of I know a lot of guys that are in the position that I kind of just talked about where they're like supervising and they kind of have a role where they go in for that final walkthrough with the client. And so they're not really in the the down and dirty kind of job day-to-day operations, but they're more of like interested in how can we grow from whatever it is, 1 mil a year to 5 million a year, right? But that's kind of our main interest is helping guys like grow from that smaller 500K kind of range up to that like just massive projection, if that makes
You know,
sense.
most harbor floor guys make 120 to 300,000 cars.
Like
That's kind of low
individually
on the
or business
like
wise.
like anybody that owns a business. If you
Yeah, yeah.
in the business, like whether you have two crews or it's yourself, most people make 150, 200,000 a year themselves, no matter what. So anything's possible. It's really hard to make millions in this industry.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you think you're gonna make millions, you got to you got to almost invent something that's going to change the life of millions of people. Right? Like, for instance, can't give it away yet, but I got an app, all right, that
Yep.
we're still working on.
Yeah.
This app does not exist, and will it will solve the problems of 99% of the problems that hardware floor guys have. This
Hmm.
will solve it across the world.
Yeah.
So if how many hardware floor guys do you think there is in the world, or just wood people that mess with wood in general? There's a few million.
Yeah. Probably around that.
Yeah. So if there's 20 million, I'll probably touch a quarter of them. You know, so hopefully, if I can get something to get a quarter of the 20 million, which is 5 million, you know, at let's say $4 a person, because $4 a person, that's cheap enough to where you'll never delete the app. It's always there, makes you look better, uh, and that's a major revenue per month,
Yeah,
right?
I think the only challenging thing with that is that it's like a completely separate undertaking, like building an app compared to doing like a consistent quality job for flooring.
Well,
The
sure.
the biggest thing like I think a lot of our guys also have like ideas on building apps and software. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. But one of the things we try to remind them is like that building out like a franchise is kind of more, I wouldn't say more achievable, but um, it's maybe a little
Boring.
e easy. It's easier though on the like the horizon, but just because like the population that these guys live in, like these states like is there. It's just a matter of like getting a hold of those people that need those jobs. But yeah, I know like franchising can be a little boring comparatively to like an app where like millions of people would be using it. But I would say on like the spectrum of like how hard it is, I would say the franchising is probably a little easier.
Oh, I'm sure. But think about anything in your life. If that's came easier, or it's came harder. Which one
Yeah,
paid off the most? The
fair,
harder one, right?
fair.
Damn. Ooh. I tell you, we're peacocks, man. I got fly. You are too. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Gotta fucking spread our wings, show those colors, baby.
yeah.
You know? Because like the Dr. Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yes,
We
sir.
are destined and built for greatness.
Yeah,
So don't stop at just doing a floor. Do a floor, but then do something else that's totally fantastic that no one has ever heard of, or touches the lives of many people, or oh fuck, just touch your life in a better way. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not saying go touch yourself, but touch your life.
Yeah,
There's there
yeah,
differences, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
definitely.
their life's too short. Man, we gotta get out there. We gotta fly.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say? You're
definitely.
20 years old. You got a podcast. Don't you feel like you got greatness coming?
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you think about it, doesn't it make you want to like jump up? You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yes, sir.
Like it makes you want to go run it, don't it? It makes you want to. It makes you feel like a 60-year-old woman in a Pentecostal church is about to get up out of her pew and go running up and down screaming, right?
Yeah.
And if you ain't feeling like that, you're in the wrong business.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I mean, that's all I have for you today. Do you have like, do you want to just plug yourself? Do you have like Instagram, socials? How can people find you, if they want to connect? I know we connected over Facebook. Um,
Uh, yeah. Uh, John
I can also
Booth,
put them in the
502.
description. Yeah.
Yeah. Louisville Coating.com is my website.
Hmm.
Uh, Instagram is John Booth underscore 502, something like that. Just John Booth, I guess, on Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll
You have
put
to
it in
go
the
see.
description. Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you, Mr.
All
Adam.
right, John. Thanks so much, man.
See you, buddy. Have a good
See ya.
one.